reception.
Hey, good day there. Happy Tuesday to y'all. Whoa, stuff's falling. This place is chaos today, so if we suddenly disappear off the air, a lightning bolt comes down and zaps us, or we get electrocuted.
We're going into the time machine today because
it could be crazy.
Happy Tuesday.
And we have a lot going on here. So today, I'm going to tell you what's going on here today.
This must be your seat. Did you know?
Well, this is my seat.
That one?
What do you think? Oh, you know what? Sometimes, Edward, it helps to turn on a microphone.
Okay.
Oh, my mic's on.
Is that better?
Yeah, James's is fine.
Oh, mine is fine. Did you fix his bib?
Hey, where are you going there, fella?
Whoa!
Soft.
Woo! Praise is putting the moves on. Old Daddy Eddie.
Jesus.
Whoa!
Daddy
Incredible. So while they're tutoing around over here, I'm going to tell you about our show.
Hello.
So today we have Paul Ghezzi here from Kontrol Energy Technology, or Kontrol Energy. This is a CSC listed company that is pulling in.
I've met Paul.
It's going on a run rate of about $16 million a year as of last quarter.
Paul's an operator. That's fine.
He's an operator, and he's building a company that is essentially a roll-up of a lot of others, it seems. And it's in the business of crazy person. Anyways, we're going to talk today about, we're going to go in depth on a few things. We're going to talk about Aurora Cannabis and Australis and their relationship and why it's looking like Australis might be a bit of a buy here. Aurora has been a client of the media division in the past, by full disclosure. Also, likely a bunch of people around here are shareholders. We're going to talk about Canopy Growth Corp then and their relationship with Canopy Rivers and juxtapose that to Aurora Cannabis and their relationship with Australis. And here's the bottom line on that. They're nothing alike. Nothing alike! Anyways, moving right along. We're going to talk about Namaste getting shot out of the sky today. We're going to talk about Kronos being dragged lower and lower and lower. And then we're going to talk about...
How low can you go?
Then we're going to talk about Eddie Milewski's brilliant trade today. And you're going to have to wait to hear the details on that. But he basically executed a great one-day trade. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Royal Nickel, because we have the CEO coming on the show next week. We're going to talk a bit about FSD Pharma, and we're going to touch on High Hampton today. All of that coming today. We're also going to talk to Ravi Sood about blockchain and cryptocurrencies. Ravi Sood, among many corporate incarnations, is also the Davos Economic Forum's one of their participants in the cryptocurrency roundtable. So he know of what he doth speak. Okay, so then we're also going to have another Justin B. Marshall segment today, and that is the essence of today's show. So, what do you think, Ed?
Well, I think we got lots of things going on, but I wanted to say,
yes,
you know, we saw Tilray do Tilray, jeepers. No, but I think Alethea did the same thing. It got way overdone to the upside. It had a big correction today, so some of the steam got taken out of Alethea today. But it was meteoric what it did.
Okay, well, tell me what did you do?
Well, you know, if I tell you, I got to kill you.
Oh, well, I don't mind being killed.
No, I sold some Alethea last night.
Yeah.
Or this morning, I should say.
Yeah.
And then I bought it back after it dropped, but that's very dangerous, and I don't recommend, you know.
You don't recommend that level of danger for the average man?
No.
Okay, well, I'm going to put up my NDI here because I have a little segment. There's another company I want to talk a bit about today.
Sure.
And this company is called The Weekend Unlimited. Now, I want to disclose the fact that I'm about to go into a private placement in The Weekend Unlimited.
Is that a PP?
PP? No, Popo. I don't gotta go. No. I think that this company, the reason I'm going into the private placement, because I think this company is going to do some amazing things. And if I can get my NDI up here, which it is now, I am going to show you NDI, get you NDI, man. Okay. So, here is, you see that? You know what this is? going to pull it back a bit.
That looks like
let it play.
something from outer space.
So this is my drone shots of the Weekend Unlimited's Jamaican operation. This is the whole tour. I'm shooting this from a drone. You can see me. That's me standing down there.
Yeah, you know what I would say? You should take this drone and shoot the drone.
And these people are handing out boxes full of marijuana. Yes. And
take the drone and shoot the drone.
Great, Ed. You crazy person. So these people are all, this is going to be
I know why you gave me this chair, because it's sitting so damn low.
This is going to be a tourism experience of the cannabis tourism. One of the verticals within the Weekends Unlimited, their whole strategy. And so it's kind of cool. And there I catch the drone in my hand. Fun? Yes. Fascinating? Maybe not so much.
Yeah.
But so let's look at the indexes today. What do you see, Ed?
Right now I don't see it. Well, okay, now I see down, 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 down.
Down, down,
2%, 1%, 0.7%, 0.3%. You know, they're all slightly lower.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you, it looks like the screens are a bit on the red side lately. Because I think Tilray, not to use a phrase over and over again, but there's some of the wind's been taken out of the sails. Yeah. If you're a sailor.
If you're a sailor, whether you're a sailor or not, there's no wind in the sails today.
Anyway, so
the bottom line is this is an expected phenomenon that absolutely every time will follow an extreme valuation event like the one that was catalyzed by canopy growths.
How many times can it keep going up, 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 up? We had a nice, but you know, I mean, they go up for a while, then they go down. Then they go down for a while, and they go up.
Well, that's very profound, Ed.
I know.
That's deeply.
It's a profound.
Deeply profound.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, so let's see. We talked to Paul Ghezzi today, and we're going to start with that segment. We're going to roll that right now.
Paul's a good guy.
Hey, welcome back. My guest this segment is Paul Ghezzi. He's the CEO of Kontrol Energy Corp, trading on the CSE under the symbol KNR. Paul, good to see you.
Thanks for having me. Great to see you.
Paul, I first heard this story 2 years ago, and it was interesting and exciting, but I'd have to confess that I didn't really understand the economics and how are you going to make money. Clearly, the joke's on me because you're making money like crazy, and you just mentioned to me that you're amping up towards a run rate of $16 million
That's right.
a year?
Starting Q4, we've just done a nice acquisition, so we'll be at about $16 million, yeah.
Okay, now tell me, as if I've never heard this story before, and as Jeremy Irons says, as if you're talking to a small child, what does Kontrol Energy Corp do?
So very simply, we're in the energy technology business, and we work in the largest, or one of the largest energy markets in the world, which is the building market. It's a $200 billion annual industry, North America alone. Globally, it's about $2 trillion. And it's a massive opportunity with a massive problem.
So when you say energy technology, do you mean the management of energy for efficiency's sake?
Right, so we're in 4 verticals: IoT, hardware and software, energy retrofits, distributed generation, and greenhouse gas emission compliance and monitoring.
Okay, so can you give me an example of your biggest clients?
Sure, so we've got what I would call large industrial consumers, say like a Lafarge or a Suncor. We've got large REITs that would be North American and global that would manage multi-res commercial. We've got the mobility guys in the data centers that we're managing. So, and really what it comes down to is the energy costs are too high, they're captive to the utility, and they're all looking at managing emissions in one form or another, whether it's corporate sustainability or they've got a compliance problem. So we can integrate all of our solutions vertically, and the way we've been growing is a combination of good acquisitions and great organic growth.
Okay, so is the business basically installation and management of hardware systems via software as a service?
So that's one component. The other component is installing something on site and managing that and monitoring that. So we call it, we split out our SaaS revenue, software as a service. That's at about $1 million and growing very quickly. You know, typically you'll see a market multiple on that of about 8 times revenue. I'm not sure we're seeing that fully yet, but as we grow that, we just announced yesterday that we've added 60 buildings under a SaaS platform, which is quite a large order in North America to get 60 buildings. So we're right now at about 30 million square feet of real estate, And as that business grows, it becomes highly valuable, very attractive to the large players, the Siemens, the Schneiders. They're all looking for acquisitions. And that's likely where we're going. As we get to about 50 million of revenue, we become that takeover target or acquisition target ourselves.
So have you had any exposure in the cannabis industry?
So cannabis, we say we work in buildings, anything between the building and the utility, and the cannabis LPs have a big problem. Their problem is energy is way too high and demand is way too high. So what we're seeing right now, and we're in some projects now where we're looking at cogeneration as a solution, and that's essentially bringing natural gas to a facility, getting off the grid, and dropping your cost dramatically. So that's one area. The other area is emissions are becoming a problem, where municipalities are creating new rules. The LPs are kind of managing on the fly because they've grown so fast, and the municipalities and the regions are catching up. So we've seen a lot of work there. And the other one is real-time managing of energy and mission critical. So if something goes down in your plant, you've got a big problem. It's not just the operations, now it's the crop. So we've seen a focus on mission critical. How do we manage this in real time, 24 hours a day? And those are the big three areas that we're getting involved with. I would say we could see about 10% of our top line from the cannabis sector. And that's a high growth vertical, with good margins.
Right. Interesting. So in terms of, for example, a company deciding to take the plunge and build a cogen plant, what's the average time till return on investment actually justifies it?
Yeah, so in a sector where you're essentially running 24 hours a day, you're looking at about 2.5 to 3 years, which gives you an internal rate of return of about 35%. Also, from a mission critical perspective, if the grid fails, you've got a big problem. And instead of building an expensive backup system, you build a 24-hour running plant with some mission critical, and you've protected yourself. So in Ontario, we're talking about 300 megawatts of power for the LP. That's no small number. And the work will get spread around, but we'll get a piece of that. And we see this moving into the U.S. as the U.S. gets ready. They've got bigger problems. In New York State alone, the electricity rates are about 30 cents. We're at about 14 cents here.
Right.
And it really makes sense around 7 or 8 cents. So the LPs are aggressively moving to cut their operating costs. This phase of rapid growth is going to move into consolidation, which essentially means you have to really be a good manager, good steward, cut your operating costs, get to the lowest cost of production, and that's where we fit in on the energy side.
What about cryptocurrency miners? This strikes me as a must-have for them.
Yeah, the crypto market was interesting. It was you had this kind of flurry and then just this depression.
I like how you speak about it in the past tense already.
So I think in terms of the scale there, it's they just don't have the scale to warrant kind of these big investments yet.
Right.
And so, but there's maybe a couple guys or a couple groups that have that kind of scale. I think what happened was, as everyone was making their infrastructure investments, the market just got beaten down so quickly, there wasn't time to really structure yourself. On the cannabis side, there's longevity to this, right? There's a view that this will consolidate over many years, and so there's lots of time to build your plant and do it right. And we still see new plants coming online, so it's a good market.
All right, so then what are your big catalysts in terms of the next 12, 24 months?
So I think for Kontrol, what we've done, which is a little unique in the market, is we've kept a very tight share structure. There's only 27 million shares outstanding. So I get some groups that say to me, that's too low, it doesn't trade enough. And I said, well, it depends what you're looking for, a trade or an investment, right? And we're more on the investment side, where if you're looking at us over 3 years, very tight share structure, and we create revenue per share and earnings per share, the market will figure out what that multiple is. As we add more IoT software as a service, which is a big growth engine for us, and the market starts to give us that 6 to 8 times multiple on that revenue. Right now we're getting about 2 or 3, but as that grows, that multiple will expand. And so as an example, Google acquired Nest for 10 times revenue. So if you build up your revenue, the market will give it to you. So there's a catalyst that the shares outstanding are quite low. Our growth rates have been fantastic. We were ranked number 7 fastest growing startup in Canada by the Growth 500 Maclean's magazine project that comes out every year. And so with these growth rates, great share structure, and the IoT moving up, we should be running, in my view, right, as the biggest shareholder.
Sure. Strikes me that you probably collect a lot of data too.
We do. So there is a data part to our business. Right now, we're collecting about 2 billion data points every 4 months. The interesting thing with data is it's only valuable when it becomes valuable to someone else.
Right.
So what we're finding right now is we may have a customer, you know, quite a large customer, let's say that's worth $300 million, but only owns 5 buildings, say 5 institutional buildings. That's their experience, but we have experience now in 230 buildings with all the data behind that. So that customer becoming a customer of Kontrol now has access to all the information that we do, and you know, we're very careful on the privacy of that. But we have trends, we have reports, we know what areas are the worst, what are the best, utility data, building data, energy system data. So as that gets bigger, that's going to be very valuable. We don't put a value on that ourselves or a price on it yet, but as we grow that, that will be very valuable for sure.
Subject to negotiation.
That's right, that's right.
Okay, well that's really interesting, Paul. I'm glad to hear you're doing so well. We're going to leave it there for now and come back to you in a quarter's time and see how you progressed. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you.
Oh, that's just, you know, that's unacceptable.
Hey, so you thought that was interesting. Here's what we're going to do right now. We're going to do this. This is a first. We'd like to hear your reactions about this, but we're going to walk through Kontrol Energy's PowerPoint and look at what the value proposition is, and we're going to either give it our, or we're going to be like, eh. But obviously you know the answer because we like Paul Ghezzi and we like what he's doing. So, without any further ado, where did it go? Uh-oh, here it is. Now I have to turn on, NDI is up. We're going to go to view full screen. Full screen mode. And there is the PowerPoint. Ed, feel free to follow along with me here.
Yeah, okay. Hey.
So forward-looking statements.
Well, if you're doing this, maybe I should do something else. Maybe
No, you're supposed to be like, it's a conversation, meaning there's two of us. I would have a conversation.
You remember we met him a couple years ago, didn't you?
Yeah, at Jeff Walker's shop.
JW's shop.
JW's. Well, he doesn't mind us talking about him in a favorable way. Now, if we were saying, boy, that Jeff, he's a lousy guitar, he would not be happy.
He's a lousy guitar.
He's a great guitar. Actually, we really enjoyed his show the other night. So that Kontrol Energy trades on the CSE under the symbol KNR. They were voted Canada's 7th fastest growing startup. And that's, I think that's Maclean's magazine that runs that program. So they're in four verticals. Retrofits for buildings. They're mostly in the building space. Large buildings. Their clients are REITs, as Paul said in that previous interview. 4 verticals, Internet of Things, power generation, retrofitting buildings, and greenhouse gas compliance.
The one thing about, and I've talked to Ghezzi many times, not many times, but a lot of times.
He takes your calls?
He's real. He's a real guy.
Well, we just saw him.
I know.
He's three-dimensional. He's not. He's none of this.
Virtual?
He's not virtual.
Come on.
No.
So
he's the real deal.
I wasn't guessing. I really thought he was real. I'm saying.
You're right. He was really real.
He's a hard money guy. He gets it.
He's trying to guy.
The only thing that I think is difficult is that when you grow at 20, 30, 40%, which is what he's doing. I mean,
double-digit Q-on-Q growth.
You know what?
What's wrong with that, Ed?
Nothing's wrong with it, except the marijuana space is going at 50 times that.
Well,
and so that's the problem. You're competing with insanity. For instance, Alethea was 60 cents 3 weeks ago.
You're going to brag about
no.
Sorry, what? Just so everybody.
Whose birthday?
That's right.
Is it my birthday?
Your birthday?
No, what'd you get me?
It's your birthday?
Shit. You got me a leather coat?
I got you a bottle of scotch.
Oh, that's that cheap shit.
No, not that cheap shit.
All right.
Do I buy cheap shit?
Cheap shit.
Cheap shit? You want to drink a bottle of cheap shit?
That cheap shit's really good.
We're not drinking cheap shit here.
Okay.
We're drinking expensive shit.
Woo. Yeah. I got a joke to tell you on my birthday.
All right, at the end of our presentation.
Okay.
That's all right.
Oh, yeah. It's about the ballerina. And
I like it. Okay, well, let's go finish the PowerPoint. Right. We're on page 4. That we almost got to page 5 before we tangent way.
No, but he's building a real business, real company.
So let's check these boxes against what he actually said. Growth driven by strategic M&A and organic. He made that very clear in the interview.
He's made acquisitions.
He's made acquisitions.
And he's growing inside.
High year-over-year revenue growth rates. Well, double-digit.
Very high.
Easily, $16 million year run rate coming. Accelerating software as a service revenues. Why? Because they're higher margin and they're easier, lower hanging fruit. 30% of the revenue is recurring annually. We've seen that in the financial statement.
So these aren't all new revenues. These are revenues that are recurring. See, recurring revenues.
It's a good one, Ed. Good point.
Yeah, you know what? And that's the good thing about having me around, because things become apparent.
You're a reality checker. Well, you know, and so the reason that we go through PowerPoints and we keep them around is because it's amazing what happens if you throw away a PowerPoint and you go, I'm not interested. I always keep them around. I got a mountain of them on my desk, because the guy will come in for an interview and 6 months later, and I'll be like, well, let's just do a quick reality check against this PowerPoint of 6 months ago and see where the story has held and see where it's changed. Because, you know, if the guy's coming back and the story's always changing, you know that they don't really have a handle on their business. But if the guy comes back and the PowerPoint is the same today as it was, except the numbers are bigger, then you know you're onto a real business. So that's the essence of why a PowerPoint is valuable. So it's large addressable market in North America.
That's a big one right there, eh? Up to 30% of energy is wasted.
Up to 30% of your energy is wasted. Most of it in talking, I would suggest. So look at $2 per square foot annual.
So is this Abbott and Costello now, or what?
Well, now? What do you mean? This has been Abbott and Costello on steroids. Well, not on steroids, more on CBD, THC, EBD, DBD, 90 billion square feet of commercial buildings in the US and Canada. $50 billion addressable market. I liked that. $15 billion in North America alone. Buildings contribute up to 40% of annual greenhouse gases. Did you know that, Ed? Did you know that buildings emit 40% of the greenhouse gases in North America? Did you know that? I'm guessing that the answer is no.
Yes,
question?
Yeah. Well, you know what? Newton said you can't destroy energy, so you can't really waste it. It's gone somewhere else.
Newton said that.
Yeah.
But he didn't invent that.
Uh-oh, somebody's trying to reach me. Who's trying to reach you? Newton?
Trying to reach me. Reach
Plato,
around.
we got Plato here. What's wrong with Newton?
Reach around. Oh, Plato's missing.
We got, so he's basically taken a company with nothing and turned it into 20 million market cap.
Here's one of the most valuable slides in any PowerPoint is the capital structure.
You know who wouldn't argue with you?
You.
Our old friend Steve Meisner.
Steve Meisner. Now Meisner he's a capital structure hound. He will rip apart your capital structure, shove it right up where the sun don't shine if he don't like it. You don't get one red nickel from Meisner if he doesn't like this capital structure.
One red nickel. How about just a nickel?
Nothing. You won't even get that.
Not even a penny.
Not a penny. Not one red farthing.
Now that you won't get a penny now because they don't exist anymore. So you might get.
What do you mean they don't exist anymore?
Well, when was the last time you saw a penny?
What's your penny
at your house?
Well, I'm collecting pennies for days. Oh,
you collect that.
Fraser's brought.
Look at this.
There's a bear too.
A little pet for us.
Little pet peeve.
Oh, that's nice.
Little pet peeve.
That's nice, Fraser. What do we want with a bloody teddy bear around our Play-Doh head?
Debt net of cash.
All right, so this is what I also like about this company. It's got 26.6 million shares outstanding.
I know.
Fully diluted with options.
He's doing everything right. He's doing everything right.
He's got $6 million in debt. Oh, we didn't know that. We don't like debt. But this is serviceable debt that he's obviously using to grow the company. And as long as the cost of capital is less than the rate of return on your investments, you're in good shape.
We're in business 101 over here.
You're looking good.
Thank you.
46% insider
Thanks for saying
ownership.
Nice things to me on my birthday.
You bet, Eddie. Boy, you should see what I'd say about you if you had a bottle in front of you.
A bottle or a bottle lobotomy?
Look at that. Look at that. This thing is cheap. 46% insider ownership. Also always great to see is a large portion of insider ownership demonstrates commitment.
You know, if I could say something, look, I'm sure this company is going to keep growing, and yet I sometimes wonder if
you're sure this company's going to keep growing.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, like look at all the bells and whistles are there, right? And yet, is it going to give you a return? Is it potentially going to go from $1 or 70 cents where it is now to $5 in a week?
Not in a week.
How long?
Well,
you got all the answers.
Well, actually, if we were to extrapolate the rate of revenue growth and margin versus these years versus these years, we can safely suggest that by 2020 he's making adjusted EBITDA of 10.5 million.
Look at this.
So this is equivalent to an energy royalty company which trades on average 1.5 times earnings.
Look at the growth in revenue here.
So let's say that the company should be trading at 15 million.
Wow,
no,
that is impressive. I mean, I'll tell you, ever since I met the guy, I liked him. I think he's the real deal. And you know, I mean, look, you know, the stock ran up to $1.50. People took some profits.
Yes.
And you know, then you know,
what made the stock run to $1.50? I mean, that's always nice to know too. Was it just hysteria, mania?
You know what? Every dog gets its day, right?
Oh no, I don't think so.
No.
Have you seen some of these mining companies?
Wow, I saw.
But anyways,
I saw Crown at 9 bid today.
So the all of these things look at $1.5 million run rate, $2.5 million run rate, $2 million run rate, $10 million run rate in the GHG compliance business. That's what I like about this company.
There you go.
Look at that. Here's the management. Also very important. Paul Ghezzi is a chartered, what's that? CPA.
CPA, which is the former CA, which is Certified Public Accountant.
I see. Okay, so he's an accountant.
Hey,
good to see somebody with an accounting background at the top of a firm like this.
Yeah.
PwC Bombardier, DBS, Solar Income Fund, Nouveau Energy. So lots of great experience there. His bona fides really checked out when we did the deep dive on the due diligence.
No, listen.
Yeah, so this is why we are happy to put this PowerPoint up, because I'm going to stipulate that I'm going to become a shareholder. Is it part of this conversation?
I think he's a big shareholder.
Ed, I don't know who
Well, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't be saying that. Probably his girlfriend.
Now you're outing the shareholders.
Jesus. It's probably his girlfriend probably thinking, he told me he never had any money.
Okay, so here's
maybe the world doesn't know he has.
Eddie's having a good time on his birthday over there. Yeah. This side of the table will...
Who's got cake? I want some cake.
No cake for you, Ed.
Cake? Where's my cake?
You get your cake?
You damn well better have gotten me a cake. I'm telling you.
Your cake comes after you get some technical analysis done in the later part of the show. So here's where I think there's some huge upside in this. See, he's off the wagon and he's losing his marbles.
I'm losing my marbles.
See, that was the great thing about when you were drinking, Ed. Is you were
sort of a built-in check.
You were a little bit more stable, I would say. Or it could be that you're reaching a new level of stability. Anyways, this is where I think that there's huge upside with Kontrol. So they're going into the cannabis business.
Yeah.
Cannabis industry. What percentage of a cannabis cost is power? 80%, would you say? 60% certainly, 70%.
It's got to be up there, right?
So if these guys can generate 10% savings for the cannabis industry, I think they might be popular.
Huge.
Might become a bit of a reseller for Paul if he lets me. Anyway, so that's where I think there's lots of upside. So now this slide, which you'll often see.
Would that be a policy, becoming a reseller for Paul?
Honestly, Milewski, who writes your shit? I don't think anybody does.
Policy, get it?
I think we're going to have
not
to
start. Not an Edison or a James.
You know what? We're going to start doing shots before every show just to get you straightened up beforehand.
He was jumpy. He was jumpy.
Never trust a man with a sharp pen in his hand.
Who's having a birthday?
Who's having a birthday?
Yeah.
Exactly. Who's feeling a little bit festive.
He can.
Ed, what did you make on your trade this morning? Do you want to boast about that?
No.
You got to call a CRA later, don't you? Oh, yeah, what money? I didn't make any money today.
Lost again.
Lost.
Shit.
Damn. How do we keep doing this?
I don't know.
You bought.
I can write those off. I think, can I?
We can.
I got some other issues.
We could actually say that you bought high and sold lower, because that's exactly what you did.
No, I sold high, bought lower.
You just gave it away. I was trying to provide some smoke screen for you.
Smoke screen. Oh yeah. No. Sorry.
You bought high and sold lower.
Oh, no wonder I keep losing. Jesus. Okay.
Boy, oh boy.
All right. Okay.
This is out of control today. Let's summarize this PowerPoint so we can stop embarrassing Paul and talking about Kontrol and get on to more serious laughter. So here's a summary of the reasons to own Kontrol. Like I said, I fully support what Paul's doing. He's demonstrated a high level of integrity with all his representations.
Yeah.
We followed this deal for 2 years.
Real business.
It's now double what it was 2 years ago at 70 cents. So if you can generate 100% absolute return every year, go for it. There you have it. There's our PowerPoint presentation.
Yeah.
Ed and I are thinking of pulling up a PowerPoint, a show, and running through it and giving it our blessing or our... And PowerPoint got our...
PowerPoint per show, so PPPS.
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 That's the fifth, isn't it?
All right.
Beethoven's
So now we're going to go over and talk to our audience a bit here because we miss you guys. We haven't said hello yet, and we really want to because we really love you, and we know you love us too. And
easy,
we just
easy
wanna...
on the schmaltz.
Oh, schmaltz. Old Yiddish word implying fat floating on surface of soup. No?
Well, you know, like a little excess, like it's just too...
Okay, I hear you, I get you, I feel you, I like that word, I feel you.
Ophelia, Shakespeare.
All right, first we'll start with the Facebook crowd here. Ryan McDonald says, we have helped him make some good loot cakes as a new investor. Much appreciated. I love watching Midas RAW when you and Ed are two great combo. That's from Ryan McDonald.
Is that the guy
follows us on
we
Facebook?
Just gave the envelope to? No, just kidding.
Yeah, that's right. We just pieced him off. Ryan, very nice of you to say that. We have lots of good things coming up. So thank you for saying. Jerome Schultz says, "Hallo, ich lade dich dazu ein, mein Seat mit. Gefällt mir zu markieren, weil ich glaube, sie konnte dich interessieren. Der erst Updates und kannst mit anderen Personen auf dieser Seite ingreifen." To which I have to say, Jerome, I have no idea what the fuck you're saying. My German is non-existent. Here's how I speak German. Ed, what the hell do you think you are doing? We have ways of making you talk.
Did you put your golden in the cell yet?
No, I didn't put my GLD in for sale. I'm buying it.
You were going to put it in at a quarter.
I'm buying it. Well, it's not. Is it at a quarter yet? No. So do I want to show?
It's higher than a quarter.
Do I want what?
Higher than a quarter.
It's higher than a quarter. Time out. We're going to cut to this commercial while I try to get on the
26 bid.
26 bid, eh? But
Yeah.
the news ain't out yet.
What news? Are you suggesting there's news coming?
Yeah. You know what the news is? The news is. They just drilled 149 meters of 13 grams per ton THC and 56 meters grading 12 grams per ton CBD. You think that stock's going to fly? What? The mining company just drilled
They're drilling.
They're drilling weed.
The weed. They're drilling it right in the field.
That's how a stock
They're
goes
not
up.
even going to the ground for this.
No.
This is across the ground.
No, it's in the ground. This is deep underground weed.
See, did you notice the gold is at 26?
Are you excited
Look at the
about that,
smile.
Fraser?
Look at the smile.
We need to be able to turn a camera on Fraser.
I wonder if that's that banker back there buying up the stock.
Oh, is there a banker back there buying up the stock?
I don't know.
You know what? I loaded up at 19 cents. I don't know where I'm going to load.
Quit bragging.
Take a look at that gold.
I'm gonna. I don't want to imply that I'm a long-term holder.
26 to
because I'm a
27
player.
now. 2.6 million.
There you go. You know what's coming down the pike now, do you, Eddie?
You know what? I had an order in to buy at 22 and a half.
Do you know?
What an idiot.
Where you're going to? Do you know? No. All right, enough tomfoolery. We talked to Ravi Sood not so long ago about what's happening in the cryptocurrency space, and we're going to take a look at what he had to say right now. He's a cryptocurrency investor with connections in Davos. Ravi, welcome back.
Pleasure to be here, James.
Ravi, tell me about your association with the cryptocurrency track at the Davos Economic Forum.
Yeah, I was an active participant in the discussion of cryptocurrencies and blockchain in general this year. It caught a lot of attention at Davos this year outside of the main economic forum, the WEF. I'd say probably over 50% of the talks and the discussions were related to blockchain applications, the blockchain and cryptocurrencies in general. That was in January, so it was a bit of a different prevailing zeitgeist for cryptocurrencies and where we are in the world at that time. And so I expect that's not going to be the case in 2019 at Davos, but yeah, certainly captured a lot of people's interest and a lot of interesting and forward-thinking people's interest.
Sure. Now, cryptocurrencies have been in a state of contraction, let's call it, price-wise, to say the very least. Today, Bitcoin's trading at $6,284, and the whole crypto experience could be more or less characterized at this point as a losing proposition for the most part. So particularly when it comes to the Bitcoin mining space, the economics have more or less eroded, not just because of the lower price for Bitcoin, but because of the onboarding of so much hash power as represented by additional participants?
Exactly, and if we look at the Canadian experience or the Canadian capital markets experience with blockchain and crypto, it's almost exclusive, not exclusively, but very much heavily weighted towards mining.
Right.
Mining Bitcoin, mining Ether, and various altcoins.
Right.
And so that's been, look, it's been a difficult year. So we started with very high prices for the coins, huge enthusiasm, a lot of capital raised and a lot of capital thrown at it, and what I call a general institutionalization of that business. So not so much the guy running a few mining rigs in his basement or attached to his Tesla, that sort of thing, and eking out a pretty good gain out of it. You have huge investments, like massive capital investments, tens of millions of dollars at a shot in institutionalized facilities, and those guys are making money. But they've really ground the margin out of the process of mining, and I expect that process to just continue. So if you're not in an ultra low cost jurisdiction and you don't have the latest and greatest hardware and you're not operating in the most efficient possible way, you will get knocked out of that business. And even if you are operating according to all those parameters, necessary parameters, your margin is just going to be much lower than it ever was.
Sure. So would a recovery in the price of Bitcoin solve all those problems for the miners?
It does not. So what it would lead to is a brief margin expansion and a bit of a windfall profit for a brief period of time. But the network, and it's actually one of the most elegant parts of crypto and how these currencies, Bitcoin in particular, but many of them are developed, that the network feeds itself. So it gives you these incentives. But it's a decentralized network, and it gets added to and it gets funded by that change in price. And so within a very short period of time, 30 days, 60 days, less than 90 days, you're going to see additional computing capacity come on the network, increasing the difficulty rate and basically compressing that margin again. So a big spike in crypto prices, for sure, that's a good thing. Helps everybody's inventory of coins worth a lot more. We'll have a brief expansion in margin, but that margin goes away again. Remember, you'll add capacity to the network, goes to ultra efficient operators, margin gets compressed.
So do you think that the price depreciation and the general sort of collapse in enthusiasm around cryptocurrencies, except for those who are intimately involved in the game, do you think that derives somewhat from the idea that a lot of the representations made by cryptocurrencies have turned out to be not as represented? For example, the security question has been demonstrated to be vulnerable in that there's been multiple thefts that have yet to really be resolved. The fact that individuals are using cryptocurrencies to conduct illegal businesses has more or less been a consistent theme in the news cycle. And so in many cases, the value proposition of cryptocurrency is not all that it's cracked up to be.
I would say let's see on that front. I think my view is 2018 has been the year of, we had a huge boom.
Yeah.
It hit Main Street. It hit Main Street hard. And you had a relatively illiquid, like in terms of comparing it to things like the T-bill market or global debt markets or even equity markets, relatively small market that had a huge positive flow of funds. It hit Main Street and it blew up and it went nuts. So you had this huge spike in prices, and now we're in the bust and we're in the hangover. So most people, the average person that's participated in crypto in the sense of buying coins is down, and probably down big. And so that average holder from the last 12 months, we're in that hangover period and we have terrible performance on most coins. So maybe with the benefit of hindsight, not surprising, But do we now conclude that there's no use for those coins outside of illegal activity? There's no use case, that it isn't a major opportunity to develop entire new networks and applications based on them? I don't think we're there yet. I'm certainly not there yet. I'm quite optimistic that huge new things are coming, and we're still on our path to those use cases and those applications that are really going to shed light on what we're going to do with these things and show some underlying intrinsic value to them. Right now, you know, a lot of the feedback is, well, what is Bitcoin really worth? The offsetting argument being, well, there's a lot of energy and there's cost to make one, but so what? If there's no underlying use for it or market for it, where is it going to be valued? How do you ascribe any value to it? It's just a bunch of electrons. Well, it's worth something if somebody's willing to pay for it. Bitcoiners will come back with the argument, well, US dollar is just a piece of paper, which is true. And as a gold bug myself, I'm certainly of that view. One slight caveat to that is the US government is obligated to accept US dollars to pay taxes. So you always have some use for that funny little piece of paper. You can satisfy your tax obligation as not just an individual corporation. So there are a few caveats and wrinkles and subtleties to all those arguments. Yeah. But ultimately, we need to see more uses, and we need to see the applications come through. So I am not ready to write the epitaph for Bitcoin or for cryptocurrencies.
Sure.
I think we're in a very natural hangover phase, and let's see what the next year or 2 years holds.
Do you think there's a divergence in the sort of the more monetary application of cryptocurrencies relative to the utilitarian tokenization of cryptocurrencies? For example, I really view Bitcoin as something conceptual and theoretical in nature, whereas I view Ethereum with smart contract features built in, more of a utilitarian application that is essentially just an evolution in spreadsheets and transfer mechanisms where you can program certain features into a unit that can then be triggered based on certain events around a contract. So for me, there's that differentiation, but when you look at the pricing of cryptocurrencies, Ethereum is as much under pressure as is Bitcoin, so there's not that sort of recognition, at least as portrayed by the price.
I mean, the market and Main Street has treated them as currencies and as speculative assets. So I don't think anybody, or no, certainly there are people, but the general investor is treating them as speculative assets. They go up, they go down, I'll buy more, I'll sell some. We are not at that point where we're really differentiating and saying the general investor isn't yet, that this is a new network. I own part of that network by owning ETH, by owning BTC, by owning whatever you own, and that's part of it. And so if I own one Bitcoin, I own one token, I own part of something. That general recognition that it's a network and that you own part of it and there's some sort of value on that, I don't think that's there with the general investor. And as to how to value that network and what that token's actually worth in those broader cases, very hard. We're just not there yet. So it is a speculative asset. So it's very hard to figure out what, if you put a gun to my head and said, where should I buy this, or what's the real value of it, man, I would not have an answer for you.
Right.
We're just not there yet, but there is value to these things.
Sure. Okay, so the arguments, many of the geopolitical arguments made on cryptocurrency's behalf are the same arguments that gold enthusiasts have had over the decades, and really absent, smart contract features and things that gold just will never have, because it's just actually a piece of rock at the end of the day. Nonetheless, a rock that is...
It's a metal.
It's a metal, sorry. That has been known to carry its value across, perception and history. At this point, I happen to know that you're an investor in gold as well as crypto technology. Which is the better investment right now from where you sit?
Look, I'm a long-time gold investor and believer, and that's got I've got several thousand years of history behind me on that one. At the end of the day, 1 ounce of gold is still 1 ounce of gold, and I know what it is. And we tend to favor the U.S. dollar as numeraire and say gold is worth so many dollars per ounce. And I still keep coming back to the view as 1 ounce of gold is 1 ounce of gold. However many euros or dollars it buys me, That changes minute to minute, second to second, year to year. But that is an immutable substance, and that time immemorial is given value to it. We accept that as value. We're not there. I'm a big believer that digital currencies are going to play a huge role in terms of Network 3.0, unlocking and unleashing applications that we haven't even thought of yet, and maybe even forming some sort of piece of the monetary pyramid. I don't know where, but I don't have to solve those futurist debates and have a strong view with gold. I already know that it is money. It is the definition of money. So that one is simple for me. I can answer that question. Yeah, as an investor, I'll always stick with gold, but I still maintain that there's still huge opportunities at some point in cryptocurrencies.
Fascinating conversation as usual, Ravi. We'll leave it there for now and come back to you soon. Thanks for joining me today.
Thank you, James.
Well, Ed, it's
Look,
it's interesting. You don't own any cryptocurrency, do you?
no, I don't know what the hell
You don't know what the hell it is?
cryptocurrency.
Nobody does.
Nobody does. That's the beautiful thing.
I know. Show me a Bitcoin. Can you show me a Bitcoin?
Here.
That's yeah, exactly. You actually just handed me a piece of garbage.
Yeah.
And that's what Bitcoin
Detritus.
is. Detritus.
Detritus.
Detritus. Fluid.
People from Detroit are detritus.
Flotsam and jetsam. Where are they from?
Up in the sky. One of them comes off a boat. One of them comes off a plane.
Flotsam and jetsam? That's pretty good, Ed. Did you think of that on your feet? Somebody write that for you?
Anything to make you laugh, James.
Well,
you know what? I got a thick skin.
Yeah.
You can laugh at me all you want.
Really? I'm laughing with you, though.
Okay, try to give me be easy on me on my birthday. That's all I ask.
Okay, we'll tell you what. We're going to give you an easy one here.
All right,
what I want you to do.
Let's take a look. Hey, yesterday we were calling about High Hampton breaking out. Let's see if there's any fall through.
It's a little higher. It's a little higher. Where the hell I've got to turn my NDI back on.
I want to see
there.
High Hampton.
Then I got to go over to the what machine is that? What am I calling that again? Where is it? Where is it? Hold on. Bear with me. Here we go. So we're going to pull up the old, oh, my login information is about to be displayed for all to see. Oh, nice catch, Fraser. Yeah. Yeah, baby. Okay, so here comes the technical analysis machine. And so, Ed, let's pull up the High Hampton chart. I bought a little bit of that yesterday. I'm up a little bit.
So what do we got here? 60.
Wait, you want the chart. We don't want the...
Okay, bid 60, offered 62.
Okay.
Okay.
This is what you're calling a technical breakout
Well,
here?
what I'm saying here it tried it. Okay, got to the same number. The next day, not a good candle, and it just rolled over. This time, look at
Yeah.
bigger volume,
Yeah.
much bigger volume yesterday. Got some good follow through here, and it just looks like, it's still early, but you know what? Let's give it some time here.
So you're saying High Hampton, in your opinion, is something that you would buy?
It looks like something it looks a little.
Is this something you would consider buying?
Yeah, I'm thinking, why am I talking about this? Why should we be buying it?
Well, you got me so excited about it that I started buying a little bit yesterday. So good. I'm glad to hear that you think it's a buy, because that means people will be taking it higher.
You know, one thing I've learned about this, and thanks to you and showing me all your guests and your friends and listening, you see a basing pattern. You see a basing pattern like this.
Yeah.
That starts to curl up. Don't ask questions. Jump aboard. And when everybody's talking about, oh, I should have bought it down, and they're buying it up to 85, 90. You pass the torch to them and say, thank you very much.
That's not how it's done.
That's how it's done.
Awesome.
That's the pro game.
Well, you want to buy some of mine?
No.
Well, what? You said yes.
No, you look,
you said yes, and now you're saying no.
Let's say you paid 59, and I bought it off you at 62.
Okay.
Okay, I don't
That's
mind.
okay.
That's okay.
But what's the point if I'm going to take...
Let's say you bought it at a penny, and then you were selling it to me at $1. I might take offense.
Oh, well, that would be... I'd take you out for dinner.
Really?
Yes. I'd buy you drinks or whatever you're smoking.
Yeah. We had a little reefer.
Yeah.
Reefer madness.
All right, so High Hampton.
Looks interesting, yeah.
Looks interesting. Now
Let's look at Alethea.
Alethea, what's the symbol on that? ALFA?
ALEF.
ALEF, Aleph. So now, you actually executed a really good
you know what? I don't want to talk
trade.
about all my losing trades either, so I don't want to just
No. We got to point out the fact
but
that
look at it.
You were right.
Outside the band, but we saw it. Look at this thing was moving up here. Look at this exponential move.
Yeah.
From here, look at breaking out of the pattern. You could say, oh, that's nothing. And then a little higher the next day, and you say,
so what was it about the chart that made you say, I'm actually going to wager money that this thing's going to drop in price?
Because the bands are.
Is it because the bar was the whole?
Yeah, but I'm not. Look at. I don't want to.
Is it because the whole candle was outside the upper Bollinger Band?
That's one thing to look for sure. And then this morning, this would have indicated this thing. Look at it got up to 470.
Yeah.
Look at 3 days ago it was 220, 470. What's changed?
Right.
Jeepers creepers.
Right. So then the moving averages had nothing to do with your decision.
Well, look, it's all part of it. You know, you look at these things. What like, is this the RSI?
Yeah.
That wasn't getting close to 100, was it?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
So those things all align. It's time to go short.
You know, it's sort of like this, okay? When Jupiter.
Okay.
Like, in other words, the planets line up.
All right. Ed, I'm a new disciple. I've now gone one notch lower in my contempt for technical analysis.
Look at that spike in volume. You're going to come back here, and you know what? Maybe, you know what? I think if this thing opens down on, if it does open down on Monday, or sorry, tomorrow.
Yeah, it's only Wednesday.
What the hell? Probably maybe.
You going somewhere, Ed? You going on vacation?
If this thing gets whacked here, I think it might even bounce tomorrow. I mean, it's tough. It's not simple.
Jeez, okay.
Okay.
Interesting.
You happy now?
I'm kind of happy. Now,
okay.
Let's take a look at. I want to look at AUSA, Australis, because it has AUSA. Now we're trying to get Scott Doughty here. We have an open invitation. He has not yet responded.
Right.
And probably that's one of the reasons why the stock's in the crapper. Like, this thing fell out of bed as soon as it came to light.
You know what? Somebody paid $16 for that thing, and somebody sold it for $16.
Do you think somebody who paid $16 is cursing their name in vain? Or do you think they're celebrating?
Or, you know, maybe it's one of these cases where the wife says, you know what, let me have some of your, to her husband, let me have some of your trading money. He says, okay, but take it easy, okay? Don't worry, I know what I'm doing. And she comes in, you won't believe this story. I bought this stock for $16. Where is it now? What? You did what?
That's a bad pass.
You got to be careful. Like, I bought this thing at $4 because you told me it dropped from 16 to 4. And I thought, got to be a buy. Then I find out they sold shares to the public at 20 cents. What? Like, if everybody's,
got to mention
all
that?
these people are paying 20 and you're paying 15,
yeah,
you got to have something wrong with you.
Yeah.
Seriously, you got to be demented.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Well, yeah, you know, I think the 20-cent round was more or less intended as a positioning round to the near and dear.
Bit of a sweetener, bit of a payback,
bit of little honey.
Little bit of honey.
A little bit of honey.
Bit of honey.
A little bit of
honey. Remember that was
we didn't get any of that, did we?
I never got any honey.
I got no honey.
No money?
No honey.
No funny.
Not funny.
No funny.
No funny.
Okay.
Did you have Chinese food last night?
Oh.
Because I noticed that you...
Look. Okay, so let's move along here. Let's look at the RIV, R-I-V.
The river. Well, the river's... the river's doing what the river's doing. It seems to have found a bottom here at in the 6 to 7. Yeah, so where is it at right now? 690. So it looks like it's kind of stabilizing.
Well, you got 3 red, you got a green candle there. Not a very good, even though it was green, you still had the big wick.
Big what?
Wick.
Big wick.
Yeah,
all right.
You know what? Again, they're selling this thing to the public at $3.50. Here it is at $7. I'm going to rush out and pay $7. Maybe. Probably not.
Well, all right, let's look at Kronos. Now, Kronos has been drifting ever lower. And,
wow.
You know.
Hey, can I, again, without, you know, these candles aren't the be-all and end-all, but here's a candle that went into the new territory, bit of a doji. That's a term for you.
Yeah.
I just want to know.
Yeah.
I want you to know.
Doji,
Pay
did you
attention.
make that up?
No.
That's not your term?
No, it's not my term. It's a
Somebody else's?
famous candle.
Oh,
it's called the doji.
Really?
D-O-J-I.
Why is it famous?
Well, it's,
and what's it doing here?
Because it suggests indecision.
Really?
Indecision. Yeah, look at it. Opens around here, trades down to here, up to here, and closes around where it opens.
In that order?
That's indecision.
Huh.
You heard of indigestion?
No.
Indecision.
Really?
That's all I'm going to say about that.
So what does the doji tell you? That
there's a decision. It's not...
So what are you going to decide?
Sir,
if there's indecision, what do you decide to do?
You know, there's nothing to decide because everybody's undecided.
Well, you got to choose something to do.
Oh yeah, here you can't. You look at that, you say, "Oh,
choosing to do nothing is
I'm
still
undecided.
a choice."
I'm undecided. So
if
you do nothing.
choose not to decide, you still have made a choice.
So
Little
yeah,
rush.
look, this thing's rolling over here. But we've had, look at it this way, we've had a monster move.
Where? We need to go back a little bit.
Look at this.
For the monster move.
And in the last few months, it's basically gone nowhere. I'm just saying,
Okay,
Kronos
let's
has
back
gone
this out
nowhere.
to 1 year. What do you mean Kronos has gone nowhere? Nowhere.
No year?
October of last year, Tuesday, September 26th last year, this stock was trading at $2.46.
When? Where?
September 26th. Way back there. Ed.
Here?
Yeah.
Okay, so it went somewhere here. But since here, it hasn't really gone anywhere.
What do you want? What do you mean? From here, if you bought it on January 10th, you paid $12.85 perhaps.
Yeah.
And you could have sold it up here at $17.76, but it's still trading in this range here.
Yeah.
So it's still, I would say, overall building a
It looks like
value.
Okay, look, we've run from 18 to 16. Wasn't this one of the companies that was sort of attacked by that guy from the States?
Andrew Left of Citron Research.
You know, I see it. Why are you smiling?
Well, because, you know, I took the liberty of looking up all of the email that I've gotten from Citron Research.
Did you say you took liberty? Did you say Liberty Valance?
Yes. And the interesting thing that I discovered was, so what's the last thing they said? You know, here's we got to pull up a chart on Namaste, because Namaste has been getting boot fucked lately.
You know.
Look at 286.
Wow.
But look at the chart. You know, is that because of Andrew Left?
Well, look at here you go. This is almost like I'm not trying to compare, but a lot of these things have had big moves, right?
Yeah.
Namaste had a big move. Look at Namaste, $1.40 to $4 basically.
Yeah. Okay. So on the 13th, this was on the September 13th. He sent this out. We look at September 13th over here. He said this thing's going to nothing. He says its target price 25 cents. So the stock drops a bit, but then rocks up to 393, and now it's come off of that, and we can call that profit taking. But so Andrew Left, Citron pick 20. Was he right? Nowhere near.
Well,
is he close?
But it's not.
So number one, no good. He picks Twitter on August 13th and says, Twitter has never been more relevant than Dorsey is our horsey. Making CEO.
Dorsey
he puts it out and says, he predicts, in fairness, he says it's going to $52 within. What happens if? Instead, let's put a TWTR. So if you're looking for, why isn't this? So let's narrow this down a bit so we can get a 13th. He says it's going to, if it happens, it goes lower. 860 now. So second, I'm just getting warmed up here.
It's okay to pick your friends.
We gotta get out.
Little re and on the old telecrash, the tri-crasher. We'll be right back, theoretically.